the stormy or braving. Well, don't tell yourself you can't lean on someone else, 'cause we all need saving sometimes. Has changed.
I think the most important character trait out there is respect, because I don't like it when people don't respect me or other people, you know? I just want everyone to be nice to each other, but sadly, the world doesn't work like that, you know? So, yeah, I think it's respect, because when people respect you, you should respect them back, or if you respect them, you should expect to be respected back, because doing your best to be nice to them, you know, and it's just not right to be disrespectful to anyone.
I think responsibility is the most important character trait. Like what Peter Parker said, with great power comes great responsibility. If you have a job, you need to have responsibility. In order to get a job, you need to go to school for so many years, and that requires a lot of responsibility. Being responsible is a very important character trait. People respect you more if you have responsibility. You need to have responsibility in order to go far in life. So that is my part of the most important character trait and why. Responsibility.
I personally believe that responsibility is a very important character trait in life because it helps us in many ways. People think that responsibility is only knowing what you're supposed to do, but I think it's a lot more than that. Responsibility is also about persevering and being a self-disciplined person. A responsible person is not only self-controlled, but they're also willing to be accountable for the choices that they make. And last but not least, a responsible person always does their best, and they think before they act, meaning that they consider the consequences. Therefore, I believe responsibility is very important and should be a big part of our life, because it not only helps us at school, but also in our own personal lives.
What I think the most important character trait is respect. And I think that respect is the most important character trait because respect is the way that people think of you and the way that they'll treat you. And if you don't respect them, then they won't respect you. And the only way to gain their respect is for you to treat them the same way. Because if you don't respect them, then they won't respect you for the same way.
I think the most important character trait is respect. The first reason why I think being respectful or respect is the most important character trait is when you're respectful to other people, they're going to be respectful to you. And you work hard each and every day, and it's important that other people respect you for that. And it's just important in general that other people respect you, and just treat others how you want to be treated, and just respect other people too. The reason why I think being respectful or respect is an important character trait is it's just polite to be respectful, and they kind of go hand in hand. Being polite is respectful, and being respectful is being polite. So it's just important.
Out of all the codes of conduct at Crystal Middle School, I personally believe that responsibility is the most important character trait. My reasons behind this are that responsibility is a big part of our lives, and as you grow older in age, responsibility increases in difficulty, and responsibility pretty much proves to people how trustworthy you are. And that just shows that responsibility can go a far way in any time in your life. So that's why I believe responsibility is the most important character trait.
And to me, that trait is responsibility. I feel that responsibility is an overview of all the important character traits such as caring, good citizenship, trustworthiness, being fair, and all that. I feel that that's your own responsibility, especially in your higher years, such as high school and higher. That's all your responsibility. And yeah.
I feel that the most important character trait from the student code of conduct has to be responsibility. I think that the most important character trait is responsibility because responsibility means like you're responsible for your actions and responsibility in the future and with your life because you're going to be responsible for yourself, for your money. You gotta be responsible for like your schoolwork, for your job, just everything you have to have responsibility for. You gotta like know what's due this day, or you gotta know how to do this. You just gotta be responsible, and I feel that without responsibility, then you wouldn't go far in life because you wouldn't be responsible. You have other people like doing stuff for you because you aren't responsible for your own stuff, and that's why I feel that responsibility is the most important character trait from the student code of conduct.
I think the most important character trait is respect, because I believe you can't get anywhere in life without respecting people, because that's the one thing everybody wants. And I truly feel sorry for those kids that can't respect a teacher or a substitute teacher, because when they're older and they try to treat someone else like that, they're not going to get anywhere in life. And I think that if you respect people now when you're young, you're going to respect people when you're older. And I think a lot more people are going to like you if they respect you.
The character trait that I think is the most important is responsibility. And while I think that schools and teachers and parents and all the grown-ups in your life have this responsibility to set you up and help you succeed, I think regardless of what age you are, regardless of where you've grown up, regardless of the conditions you've grown up in, at some point in our lives, we have the responsibility to say, this is what I want. And I'm not going to wait for someone else to give it to me. I am going to do what I need to do to get there. So that means I'm going to go to school every day and I'm going to pay attention in class. I'm going to get good grades. I'm going to educate myself by reading as much as I can and learning as much as I can and by dreaming as much as I can. And I think responsibility is something that is synonymous with the word accountability. And when we are accountable to ourselves, then I think you can really accomplish anything. When we own our own mistakes and we say, hey, I didn't do the best at this, but I can move forward and I can still achieve A, B, and C, then I think you have it all. And I think that that is true whether you are someone who has felt like they were bullied or if you were someone who did do bullying. Bullies grow up. And sometimes they grow up to be really nice people. They just go through a really rough time. So I think regardless of your age, there's a certain amount of responsibility that we can all take every day to change where we are and where we're going. But you have to decide at some point what it is that you want. And I think that's the hardest thing when you're a kid, is to say, this is what I want. So you have to expose yourself to lots of things. And to me, the best way to expose yourself to lots of things is to read and to learn and to educate yourself.
Well, I think the trustworthiness and responsibility are big factors. But as far as the biggest impact on your success in college and career is your trustworthiness and responsibility. I mean, I'm talking about self-responsibility. If you have assignments due, if you have courses you have to take, don't sit there and moan about the fact that, gee, you don't like doing this. You just have to suck it up and go ahead and take that course. Get the assignment done, because that's what the part of the building process and learning how to do whatever job you're aiming for in the future. If you don't like that particular kind of work, what happens when you get assigned that function when you're employed? You're going to have somebody else do that job for you. Well, at that point, you may get passed over for various promotions because you can't do all assignments. You may even get fired because they realize you can't do your job. You're relying on other people. So, what I learned as a police officer, particularly, you want judges, you want jurors, you want deputy DAs to believe you when you say, look, I saw something happen. This is what this person did. And you're not always going to be believed simply because it sounds like an incredible situation that's there. But if you don't have the trustworthiness, if you haven't been honest the entire time, then they look at that and they know right away that you've lied before, or you've shaded the truth, or that you're not quite given all the facts that are there. The only thing you have going for you is your credibility. If you want credibility, you have to act credibly. You have to go ahead and be honest, trustworthy.
If you want me to pick, there's two that leap out at me that I think that I would always talk about. I would talk about caring. I work in a caring field. If you're going to work with people and you're going to meet them in the office to deal with their health problems, you need to have a sense of caring. And it has to be more you can't just care about your paycheck. You can't just care about getting home. You have to be able to stop and care about others because they may be hurting more than you. And that has to be something natural, but it is also something that you can work on, stepping outside of yourself. I had so many volunteering opportunities early in my life where I started to learn that my life was pretty good, wasn't as bad as I might have thought. And I also realized what I could give. And that kind of set me up to understand that a caring type work job would be just what I needed in my life. Not to mention that, I learned so much from others about how to care. Just because you want to doesn't mean you'll do it well. And I've had to learn from many people, watching them do this for others and then taking their skills and bringing them to my job. So caring is a really critical part of this. The other word responsibility. Let's stick with that word. When I was in high school, I was on the swim team. Talk about a sport that didn't get a lot of respect or popularity. Could get a little teased about that. But it was my sport. And I'll tell you what I learned out of this. Swimming was all about practicing hard now, putting aside the fun and working super hard at what you're doing so that you can get the benefits later on. And that's really responsibility. That's saying, I'm going to put away the play today, do the studying so that I can get a good grade down the line. And this was critical. When you're in high school and mom says, "Dude, did you do your homework? Did you do your homework?" Now, I was obedient, and I would always say yes, and I would have done it. But the second you go off to college and there is no mom sitting with you in your dorm room to say, "Did you do your homework?" I can't tell you how many of my college classmates had to go home after a semester because they just didn't take care of their classwork. I had learned how to discipline myself, be responsible about my work, and my grades stayed up from the beginning. I didn't have to worry about that. That goes all the way through, to be responsible to finish off my work, to be responsible to finish the work the way I say I'm going to. Even today in the office, I tell patients, I'm going to research something for you. I'm going to call you back about something. I'm going to go look this up for you. And the responsibility to follow through allows them to trust what I'm doing with them. And responsibility is something that I think everybody can start as they are in junior high. When you say you're going to do something, finish it through. When you set a goal, that you be responsible to take the steps to make that goal a success. And all the while, use those caring skills as you go. And you are going to find that people are going to say amazing things about you. They're going to say you've got potential. They're going to say that you can do anything you want. They're going to say that you are a bright, shining star. And you're going to hear things that you didn't believe were true about you. And soon you'll be on the other side of this camera doing the video for other middle school students, talking about the things that made an impact for you. So I hope that helps you in your quest.
So I think that fairness I would say has the biggest impact. I'm really a big proponent of things being fair and things being not fair. So that is something that can extend from childhood up to adulthood and going through college, going through medical school, and, you know, into your chosen career path. You know, if you see something going on that's not fair, whether it's an inequality in a salary or an inequality if someone's being bullied or what have you, then you definitely want to try to find a way to make it fair. And that's a philosophy that I've tried to carry with me from being younger to even the present time now.
I think responsibility is the one that stands out the most to me. Because if you're a responsible person, you're going to treat people with respect. If you're a responsible person, you're going to be fair and trustworthy. And I think that responsibility impacts all of them. I think that college and career, I had to be very responsible in my obligations to myself and to others in order to get to the goal that I wanted to get to. And I think, as I said, it encompasses all the other traits, and so that to me stands out the most.
The one that stands out the most to me, though, is citizenship, because I think we live in the context of community. We were created to enjoy one another, to fellowship with one another, to commune with one another. And I think that when you're a good citizen, when you are good to others, others will be good to you, and that'll allow you to be successful. I can't remember how many times that I had to miss class for whatever reason, a doctor's appointment, just sick, just whatever it was, and how many times I had to rely on my fellow students for notes and what happened in class and be able to get the full rundown as if they were the professor, you know, and just being able to study with them and just learn from them. That was so important, and you can't get that if you're not a good citizen, if you really don't behave well and respect well. And so that was really important, is just to realize that we live in communities, and I mean that's who we are. You know, we're very social people, and we have to be good social people so that other people will encourage and support us, so we can encourage and support them. And that's how you'll grow. That's how you'll be successful in college. That's how you'll be successful at your job. That's how you'll be successful in everything that you do, because you learn how to live in a community and be a good citizen.
Well, they're all great character traits. So pick one over the others is, you know, frankly, I'd say trustworthiness, probably number one in my book. Responsibility, number two. Fairness, number three. As a judge, fairness would be number one. Showing respect, number four. But if you're trustworthy, people will rely on you. You'll feel good about yourself. It's just something that is more of a character trait. Responsibility, I guess it's somewhat of a character trait, but it's more how you behave, more of a behavior. But trustworthiness, being honest, being truthful, being trustworthy, you really can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, I think all trustworthiness, because if people can't trust your integrity, you never get that back. That's gone forever. As soon as someone thinks you don't tell the truth, that will impact you immediately in college and your career. So you have to have that responsibility, just because if you can't get the work done in college that you're responsible for, again, you can't continue. And that's the same thing in the career field. Respecting each other, that's one, again, I think some people become successful without doing that. But I think in the long run, their heart's empty if they don't respect other people, because they don't get respect back. And then caring and citizenship and fairness, I think those are the ones. If you look at people I think of like Warren Buffett or Bill Gates, who have achieved all of the money success you've ever seen, and you look at them in their lives now, and they're in their 50s, and what they're doing now is they're giving it all back, and they're doing philanthropy, and they're trying to change the world in a positive way, because I think they've realized that success doesn't come in the car and the house and the career position. It comes in what you can do to impact the world. So I guess that's my long answer for your long question.